Hello and welcome to Obinna TV. So for now, I like to look at a few issues. This is the Daily Show KE, where I look at the top issues in Kenya, Africa, America, and around the world. So now, Eric Latiff moves to Nation FM. So what next for Spice FM? Then Azziad Nasenya debt are Kenyan celebrities living beyond their means. That is, are Kenyan celebrities living beyond their means? Then how will Trump's policies affect Africa now that he's 3 days old in the job? That is Donald Trump. How will Trump policies affect Africa? And then is the future of work freelancing, subcontracting, and gig working? Is freelancing, subcontracting, and gig working going to replace the 9 to 5 corporate job? And then a brain drain what how can Africa tackle brain drain? And finally, who would be the next leader of the Democrats? So basically, let's start with Eric Latiff move to Nation FM. So basically, that's about the future of mainstream media. It appears that Eric Latiff will be going over to Nation FM. So that means that Spice FM will be without its key a newsman, pounding man, that is Eric Latiff, because he was the moderator of the conversation. Because remember, Spice FM pioneered the that is the situation room. That is a full 4 hour talk show, and I think a lot of middle class Africans, middle class Kenyans, who are enlightened, that was their station. Basically, they felt that finally they had found a station, because I think most of them did not agree with the ratchet content of the relationships, that is by Maina Kageni and Malim Kingangi. So maybe they felt that the content on Spice FM was enlightening, so that's why then they flocked to listening to Spice FM. But then, of course, it came a shocker that Eric Latiff was leaving Spice FM, basically for Nation FM. So that means Standard Media Group is struggling. So what happened to Standard Media Group? Why is it struggling? So I would say that maybe they are paying low salaries, or maybe the salaries, if they are paid at all, they are usually delayed. So basically, that means that Spice FM is going Standard Media Group is facing closures, and so basically that means it has to do more in order to attract an audience, and that means that maybe retain a few hosts that they will pay highly. Otherwise, in this corporate media wars, Standard Group will not hold it down. So basically, and I think that's Spice FM is one of its kind in Africa. I think a talk show, a 4 hour talk show that is about the deep issues of the day, and I think when you think about it, the political process in Africa has always been a pact between the super rich who provide the funds and the downtrodden poor who act as the foot soldiers of the super rich. So basically, the middle class has always been left behind. So when you see the middle class being concerned about the deep issues of the day, then you know that at least Kenya we had ticked the right box with the Space FM, because I can guarantee you that when the middle class had thought they could build a parallel state of maybe private insurance, private schools, private hospitals, gated communities, where if there is power shortage, they just have the generators. If there is that is if they get if the schools in public schools are not doing well, they take their kids to private schools. When they want to go to hospital, they go to private hospitals. But then they discover that is a very wrong assumption. So that when they get a debilitating disease, then they realize that the insurance usually runs out in just under 2 weeks. When they get a debilitating disease such as cancer, they realize that the insurance runs out in under 2 weeks, and that's why the middle class then must be involved in Kenyan politics. That's why the middle class must be involved in Kenyan politics, and I think Space FM really had made the Kenyan be involved in the deep issues of the day. That is what Space FM was. The Space FM had made the Kenyan middle class be involved in the deep issues of the day, and this is why I think that it is truly disheartening to see that Eric Latiff is leaving Spice FM for Nation FM. Of course, Nation FM came up with that concept in 2016, but it was poorly executed. Remember, you don't have to have a nice idea. What really matters is great execution. Are you able to execute your idea? You may have the best idea in the world, but if you don't know how to execute it, then basically you don't get the fruits of your hard work. You don't get to get the dividends of that hard work if you don't execute. So that's what happened. That's what Nation FM. That's what Nation did in 2016. They didn't bring in the right people to have the right kind of knowledge on how to execute that decisions, on how to execute a talk show. So they brought it, I think, in some PhD guys, and of course there were others such as Jimmy Gado. Of course, Jimmy Gado claims he gave us the Maina Kageni Mwalimu Kingangi morning show on Classic 105 when he was the programs controller at Classic 105 back in 2004. But then, of course, you have so I think you have execution. So Nation FM never executed that idea very well of a talk show, and I think Nation should not stop just at 10 a.m. It should go all the way. I think it could make money. I think go all the way to 24-hour talk show radio. I think it will make money, especially if it is just about commentating. I think talk radio is doing well in America, and I think it will do also well in Kenya. So that's it about what do you think about the move of Eric Latiff to Spice FM? What do you think to Nation FM from Spice FM? So is the Spice FM going to die a natural death? Will the other two co-hosts, that is City Muga and Du Oko, also be? Will they steer the station to greater heights? So that's something that we need to be watching to look out for. And then another thing that's popping up, celebrities, Kenyan celebrities faking their lifestyle. Basically, it appears that Azziad Nasenya, remember, she is the preeminent TikToker in Kenya. Basically, she made TikTok known in Kenya. That is Azziad Nasenya. I think she danced to that song, Utawezana Kweli, Utawezana. I think that is the song that made her go viral. That is Utawezana Kweli. That is the song that made that is Azziad Nasenya trend, and then from there on, that is the rest, as they say, is history. So of course she danced to that song, Utawezana. And of course, that's about a lady telling a man, can you really get over having sex with me? I think that's what the song really means. So utawezana kweli. So I think Azziad Nasenya basically is saying she's under depression. Basically, she loaned someone. She got a loan of 400,000 shillings, and of course, that she is faking her lifestyle. So, are Kenyan celebrities faking their lifestyle? Is there any one celebrity in Kenya that is living their life? Is there someone with a Mercedes Benz, maybe 30 million Mercedes Benz, maybe who is living a life in the millionaire status? You see the likes of Burna Boy, you see the likes of Diamond Platinum, you see the likes of the video, the likes of Whiskey, they are really rolling. They are rolling, and I think maybe Kenyan celebrities compare themselves to this and to these people. You saw the way Diamond Platinums, he came to Kenya, he was paid 20 million by Raha Festival, of course, by Willis Raburu, of course, and the management paid Diamond Platinums 20 million shillings, even though he did not perform because his time clashed with that of Willie Paul, and none wanted to perform before the other, or both of them wanted to perform before the other. So are Kenyan celebrities really faking their lifestyle? Maybe that's what we need to ask. Are Kenyan celebrities faking their lifestyle? First of all, does art pay? I think it has started paying. I think these days art is paying. The creative arts these days is paying, but it is not in the level of someone cruising, maybe, and someone having a six-figure lifestyle, someone having a seven-figure lifestyle. I don't think we are in that stage yet in Kenya. Maybe in Nigeria they are in that stage. Maybe for Diamond Platinums is in that stage. But I think for Kenya, we don't have seven-figure celebrities in Kenya. We don't yet have. I don't know whether there is any Kenyan that is paid maybe 20 million per performance, or maybe paid 20 million from corporate endorsements. Some of them do this corporate endorsement for as little as 5,000 shillings. So you can see maybe they are paid in kind by the product. So even if you see an artist advertising so many products, maybe it's just 5k, 5,000 shillings. So I think this is the time to have effective policies to have art pay. I think it is Calligraph Jones that has shared out his payment from royalties from his music. I think he shared a screenshot of about 3,000 shillings. So you can imagine this art, is it really paying? Can you do Kenyan does Kenyan art pay? Maybe that's what we need to ask. Is it a viable career choice? I think it has started paying. But of course, then it is not in the range of 7 figures. I think it can pay 6 figures. Maybe someone can get about 200,000 shillings per month from art, but can it get you 2 million shillings per month? That's the question. I think it is maybe the management that usually gets such kinds of money, but the artists themselves, I don't think they get this amount of money. So that shows you that we are still not yet in the age of art paying. We are still not in the age of art paying. So basically, but I think it's a good thing. I think now kids can look up to being musicians, being actors, being comedians. I think they can look up to it. Basically, they can look up to being this, following these careers, but then it has not started paying yet, and I think that's where the problem is. So I think we need to be able to pay our musicians. Let the clubs pay for the songs they are playing. I think you have people saying, I will pay you by exposure and not by your music, and I think that's a very nonsensical thing to do, to be able to pay someone for exposure and not for that is not their real talent. Do doctors get paid by exposure? Do engineers get paid by exposure? No, they demand their rights. And I think with the CBC curriculum, I will hope that people will develop their talent. The creative arts can be a strong economic player. The creative arts, look at Hollywood in America and what it has done. Look at Hollywood. Basically, it is an engine of growth for America, and besides, it can also market us. When artists, when other countries see our artists living big, they will know we will develop soft power. Basically, the Harvard intellectual, I think it is the Harvard intellectual, Joseph Nye, who coined the term soft power. So soft power is winning hearts and minds. And so when we can, when our other countries see our artists gracing the big screens, they will know. Look at the way our athletes have marketed Kenya, and that's the way the likes of Calligraph Jones, the likes of Nyashinsky, the likes of Azziad Nasenya, if they could be living large, that is the kind of publicity they could be giving the country. We won't even need to persuade investors to Kenya, because they will have known, just like we are known for running, just like we are known for marathon, just like we are known for marathon, for athletics, for middle and long distance running, we will be known by our movies, by our songs, by our acts. And I think that's the way to be able to develop the Kenyan corporate scene. So I think for now, art is paying, yes, but not in the range of someone is really a meomoka. That's what I would say. For I think it is paying in the middle class range, maybe 200,000, 300,000 shillings per month. But to say that art in Kenya is paying in the millions per month, I don't think we are yet there, but we are going there. And so, but then you have to ask, what kind of policies have these people developed for us? What kind of policies have they developed for us? That's the question we need to ask. And if art is going to pay, then it better pay in that direction. And I think that's how we'll be able to. That's how we will be able to know that art is really paying. But I think for now, Azziad Nasenya things needs to slow things down, take it a step at a time, and maybe she will recover from the amounts of debt she has. And I think that's the way then that you will be. Then that's the way that I think we will see her flourishing. Otherwise, we wish her well in recovery. We really wish her well, so that then she can return and be and then be that shining city on the hill. So that's about Azziad Nasenya. Then we can move on. So Justin Muturi, that is the minister of I think public service minister he skips a cabinet meeting after alleging that that NIS was complicit in abducting his son. So what does this say? Of course, he will be fired maybe very soon, but of course then that's a fallout with William Ruto that you don't want to see. So basically, the Ruto cabinet is reading from the different script, and maybe the question we need to ask: has William Ruto lost the Mount Kenya vote? That is, has William Ruto lost the Mount Kenya vote? Maybe that's what we need to ask. I think you can begin to see that basically you have he appointed several ministers from Mount Kenya in a bid to quell the revolt emanating from the sack or the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president. So basically, has William Ruto had lost the Mount Kenya vote? So it appears that the Mount Kenya vote is gone now, and I think that's why he is reaching out to other parts of the country. But I think there's someone who says enye hatutapata tutaongezea, enye hatutapata tutaiba. So basically in 2027 you will have a do or die battle. But remember, William Ruto is not a weak person. Remember, he won the election even when he was on the opposition. It is the government, sitting government, that was supporting Raila Odinga. William Ruto was in the opposition. Of course, this is not about performance. When we come to about performance metrics, he has not delivered on the key issues of the day. But then that is not how elections are won. Maybe the electoral commission is the one that decides the president. So basically, William Ruto will be at it again. Has he lost the Mount Kenya vote? Will Rigathi Gachagua said he will form a party within 14 days. That's what Rigathi Gachagua said, that he will form a party within a political party within 14 days. So that means then Mount Kenya folks, they said, I think Rigathi Gachagua said for now he trusted William Ruto too much because he used to go to church with him together. So he saw no need of forming their own political party. But this time you have heard from Rigathi Gachagua. He has said that expect a political party of Mount Kenya within 14 days. So that is the key question being asked right now. Has William Ruto lost the Mount Kenya vote? That is, has William Ruto lost the Mount Kenya vote? And then we'll move over. And then, of course, so I think in 2027 it will be maybe Kalonzo Musyoka will team up with Rigathi Gachagua, so that then you have Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential flag bearer and then Rigathi Gachagua as the flag bearer. And this could be a winning ticket. Remember, you don't need much. If you get support from Mount Kenya, then you just need some top-up votes, and that's going to be real hard task for William Ruto. That's going to be a hard task for real. If you get 90% or 80% of Mount Kenya vote, then you just need top up. Remember, William Ruto was beaten by Raila Odinga in 6 out of the 8 provinces. So basically, you can imagine that basically, if you get 80% of the Mount Kenya vote and they turn out in large enough numbers, then you don't need much from the rest of the country. So that will be Ukambani votes. And that's how Kibaki won in 2007, basically by Mount Kenya only, and then the Ukambani votes are going to being split. And so basically, if you get 80% of the Mount Kenya vote, then you can expect that essentially you will win the election. So that's what we are going to see on whether William Ruto will be winning the Mount Kenya vote, on whether Mount Kenya is out of the calculus of William Ruto politics, and that is how we'll be able to see. So that's about has William Ruto lost the Mount Kenya vote. And then we'll move over now. How will trans policies affect Africa? How will trans policies affect Africa? So basically, for now, Donald Trump is returning to the White House for a second term, the first president since Grover Cleveland in 1892 to win 2 non-consecutive terms. So basically, now Donald Trump is up in arms. He signed executive orders removing America from the withdrawing America from the World Health Organization (WHO), and again withdrawing America from that is withdrawing America from the other body, Paris Climate Agreement. So that's those are two bodies in which Donald Trump is going to withdraw America, and of course, he says there will be no cost as to deportation to of illegal immigrants. He says, and of course, he issued another executive order just by the fact that you are born in America does not automatically guarantee you U.S. citizenship. So you can imagine that that is already now an executive order is saying that just because you are born in America does not guarantee you a citizenship of America, does not guarantee you, does not mean that you are an American citizen. So basically, this is what we are going to be watching out for. And I think we better brace for the William Ruto, the Trump presidency, and what it is going to do for the country. So what will Trump mean for Africa? I think Africa is a footnote in American foreign policy. To be fair to you, I think Africa is a footnote in America's foreign policy. So I really don't expect there will be much for Africa in Trump's second term. Trump has called Africa very unpalatable names, like shithole countries. That Africa are shithole countries. So basically, in some sort of way, Trump could be a racist. I'm not saying he is a racist, but I'm saying he could be an underhanded racist, if I mean to say. So basically, Donald Trump does not think much of Africa. Africa is a footnote. Africa is an aid and humanitarian hotspot. Really, Africa is an aid and humanitarian hotspot. It is not a place of trade and investment, maybe like China. So basically, that's what China is. Africa is not an aid and is an aid and humanitarian hotspot. It is not a trade and investment destination. So one hopes that Africa someday will be an aid, a trade and investment hotspot. And I think if Africa becomes a trade and investment hotspot, that's the way to be able to lift Africa up. But I would hope that you remember, even though America has been welcoming of immigrants from all around the world, even though immigrants constantly renew America, but remember, America was purposely made to be a European satellite state. So just remember that even though America is welcoming of immigrants from all around the world, even though America has been constantly renewed by immigrants, but that America was purposely built to be a European satellite state. So it means it is white men that are calling the shots in America. And remember, even the rise of Donald Trump, it was white anger backlash on how the America elect a black president in Barack Obama. That's how he may deny it, but that's how Donald Trump rose to power. How dare America elect a black president? And that white anger backlash is what saw the rise of Donald Trump. So basically, Donald Trump came to the limelight. Remember, on the election of Obama, Donald Trump said he has never seen any country that is run by a black person that is successful. That is what Donald Trump said, that he has never seen any country in the world that is run by a black person that is successful. And so you have to wonder, what does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? And so that is going to be a case of too little too late. So we are going to see what policies Donald Trump will have for Africa. What policies will Donald Trump have for Africa, and how will they affect? But I think we need to put our own house in order. I think there is nothing as great as a superpower that is Africa. If Africa became economically superpower, the rest of the people in a black diaspora around the world, in the Caribbean, in America, they will see. They will not look at Africa in bad terms. Right now, you have African Americans, they have a very unpalatable view of Africa because they are told by their media, they are constantly shown by their media, by the Western media, of how desolate a place Africa is, of being a common cold away from a disease pandemic, being a warlord away from civil war, being a spoonful away from starvation. So basically, they see Africa in that light. So basically, that is why I would say that Africa needs to put itself in order and be, and I think even racism is not a skin color issue, it is a wealth inequality issue, basically, because wherever in the world a black person is, even here in Africa, it is a black person who is often the poorest. So basically, that shows you racism is more a wealth inequality issue than it is a skin color issue. So that's it. Then from there, I will be looking at what is the future of work. What is the future of work as subcontracting, and gig working merge? What is the future of the traditional 9 to 5 job? So, is the 9 to 5 job going to go away as freelancing, subcontracting, and gig working merge? So, basically, the platform-based economy, that is, for instance, there is a long-running debate on whether Uber drivers are employees or subcontractors for human resource professionals. For state governments, Uber drivers are employees who are entitled to sick leave, who are entitled to vacation, who are entitled to a standing salary at the end of every month, who are entitled to a holiday. But then, of course, for Uber, it says that Uber drivers are merely subcontractors. Other than Uber merely acts as a connecting up between the driver and the commuter. So then the employee, and then the Uber driver is entitled only to maybe only to commissions. Other than that, the Uber driver is not entitled to anything else. So maybe that's why then they think is the Uber driver basically is the Uber driver is the Uber driver a contractor, subcontractor, or an employee? That is what we need to ask ourselves in the first place. So, is the Uber driver mainly is the Uber driver an employee or a subcontractor? So that's going to be the future of work, and many people are going to be doing work from their homes. Of course, we have forex traders, we have online writers, but it's only said it's going to really be on a worldwide scale. Corona brought a bit of that. People are working from home basically, so that will mean more people will be setting a room in their house to be their office space, and then they will be working from there. And I think that is what will make employees basically be working from home, remote working. Of course, then freelancing, that means you could be working for so many companies at the same time only, and now you'll not be an employee being paid by time but being paid by output, and so that would really append the nature of work. So that's going to be really interesting on whether Uber drivers are going to be on whether that is on the future of work, that is employee subcontracting, gig working, and so that will be the future of the platform-based economy. Remember, even though American companies have benefited the most from globalization, even though American companies have benefited the most from globalization, the American worker is the most undercut by globalization. So basically, the American worker is the most undercut by globalization. They go through maybe a subcontracting employee, and basically they go through these roles. And when they do that, then I think. And when they do that, when American workers do that, then when the American companies benefit, but then they are the most undercut by globalization. Some of these platform-based platforms really they take in our work for free, and basically they should be paying us. It's unfortunate that you could have someone that is very famous on these platforms, but essentially has no income because then part of their money part they are not paid. But I think it is instructive that some of these platforms, maybe like X, like YouTube, and others, uh, are now paying for workers, are now paying creators money. So this is why I will hope that this is how I will hope that really we go from here. Then finally, who will be the next leader of the Democrats? So who will be the next leader of the Democrats after after the loss to Donald Trump? So basically, this person will need to appeal to the working class. That's what the Democrats are all about. It is about the working class. So they have the Democrats have really that is the Democrats have really lost their steam. I think many Americans are even mentally sick because of the Donald Trump presidency, because he's so out of touch of what a president should be that you wonder how then do Americans look up to him. So basically, who should be the next leader of the Democrats? And you wonder what kind of policy should have. I think the Democrats came out of I think the Democrats really just came out of I think the Democrats came out of, I think, this election really feeling frustrated. Kamala Harris had only 100 days to campaign, so how could she have won the election? They pandered to both the billionaire class and the working class, which I think was a mistake. They should have pandered to the working class instead. And of course, then there was the culture wars, maybe the fight against DEI, but I think it's a good thing. I'm a product of diversity, so I don't know why when they say see a minority getting a coveted position, then it suddenly means that standards have been dropped. I think that's being hypocritical. That the only way to have a qualified candidate is to have a white male. That is being hypocritical, to say the least. That to see a black or a minority has gotten a position, then you say standards have been dropped. Then I don't think it is really not worthy in the first place. So I just think that the Democrats need to pander to the working class. Remember in 2004, Obama was a mere state senator when he was given a chance by John Kerry to say the keynote address. He was a mere state senator. So basically, the Democrats need to look at state and local politics. That's how they will be. That's how they will regain the White House. So bye for now. Till the next time. Bye for now.